Good evening. Welcome to Estrategias Militares. We are live right now. May 6th, 2026. What we're seeing right now here are exclusive images. It's the Onboard ship, the Onboard cruise ship, where people infected with the virus have died. And now that cruise ship is setting course from the southern hemisphere to the Canary Islands. What are you hearing? The government of Spain intends to disembark all the passengers from the Onboard in the Canary Islands. Estrategias, we're going to talk about this and much more here on Estrategias Militares. Family, your likes, your comments. Let's get started. Strategy. Good evening, family. This is going to be a serious show, a very serious one, because the situation calls for it and requires it right now, as we are speaking. There is a ship anchored off the island of Praia in Cape Verde that is about to start sailing, heading north towards the Canary Islands to evacuate more than 100 passengers with a virus that can have weeks of incubation. And that has already caused deaths inside the ship. And right now, scientists, the international community, and the WHO don't know, they don't understand. How is it possible that the virus is spreading from person to person? We could be talking, without a doubt, that we are facing a new variant del virus. We don't know. It's that clear. Welcome to Estrategia. Estamos en directo ahora mismo. Thank you very much. Sorry for the delay. I'm going to be honest. And I'm going to be very honest about this. I fell asleep from exhaustion after so much news and so many live broadcasts. So I sincerely apologize to you. I don't like making people wait. I've spent hours studying all of this. I'm not a doctor. First of all, I want to say I'm not a doctor. I'm not a specialist in viruses or pathogens. I have nothing to do with this. I'm just a regular person. But I think I have common sense. And I want to understand, and now you'll see. How is it possible that this ship, which went on an expedition from the south of Argentina to see the South Pole or places or islands of the South Pole, something that's fascinating, something that's incredible, Bishop, que es mortal, is going to end up in the Canary Islands, potentially with a strain that hasn't been studied of a virus that is deadly. I want to understand it. How is it that out of all the countries there are, between the place where this medical emergency started, the ship is going to end up in Spain? First of all, before anything else, I want to send a big hug to all the crew members. There are 14 Spaniards among the crew, passengers, who are having a hard time right now. I want to send them a hug, a big hug. And all our respect. This is not going to be about selfishness. It's not going to be about we have to do something. We can't turn our backs. It's about common sense. A lot of common sense. Family, the super chats are open. Right now, the channel's contact lines are open. We also offer PayPal, PonMe, Estrategias Militares for contributions. Thank you so much, really. You can't imagine how helpful that support is for the channel's expenses and for being able to do this 24 hours a day, which, as you can see, is completely exhausting. Honestly, I'm exhausted, but we have to do it. We have to do it because It already happened to us with COVID. At that time, there were no estrategias militares. I followed this whole issue very closely. Things were not done right. And I think right now we're on the way to making a fatal mistake, an absolutely devastating one. Let's see. First of all, where is that ship coming from? Ládelo. So that people understand the magnitude of what we're talking about, the seriousness of what we're talking about, and what's at stake for Spain, the European Union, and the whole world. Let's see where it's coming from. Let's review something that occurred last year with the virus in a laboratory in Australia. We're going to see all of that. So I invite you to stay for the replay as well. Please, leave your likes and your comments. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, let's take a look at the ship first. This is the travel log of that ship. It has been in the south of Argentina. They've sailed across the southern hemisphere. They have passed by the island of St. Helena. They have been near South Africa. South Africa has refused to accept the ship. We don't know about St. Helena. Foco. Some of the islands between that place and Cape Verde haven't accepted it either. None of the countries you see in Africa have agreed to host these people, to support them. They're exactly what I'm about to show you. In this place, let's take a look over here on our naval map. Where is it? There. They're not in the port, they're outside. Praia Island, Cabo Verde, Cape Verde. Are they islands? They're near Africa. It's not part of Portugal. It's a sovereign, independent country. It was a Portuguese colony. The ship, the Ontios, it's right here now. At a safe distance from the port. It is not allowed to dock, enter, or disembark anyone. Images of Ondios. Is Ondios a cruise ship? That's not typical. It's dedicated to exploration. It's an exploration cruise ship to reach places people don't normally visit. True paradises, a feast for the eyes that very few mortals can afford. It's usually an expensive cruise. A ticket on the Ondios can cost a real fortune. It's not a trip made for tourists. They're for nature lovers, people who want to explore, to discover places in the world that many people normally don't have access to visit glaciers, to visit islands in very harsh weather conditions, to see wildlife and animals that are not usually seen, to explore like our ancestors used to do, to discover this world. That is Ondios. There you can see. It's a ship that, when something like this happens, it starts a journey. Thank you. Being rejected in every country. And now it seems that Spain is the country that will take them in. There we see it. anchored. Thank you for quite some time. Now, you can imagine the crew, how they're feeling. 3 people have died. And it's not easy. Grass, it's not easy at all. Thank you. But what is this Ondaviru? Let's put up here an infographic that we've made at Estrategia Militares so that people can understand it and see what's going on. Let's take a look at it. This is Hantavirus. It's not unknown. Unlike COVID, Hantavirus is known. It is found in the Americas, Europe, and Asia, in rural areas, forests, and places where wild rodents live. Hantavirus is a virus that is mainly transmitted to humans through contact with infected rodents, through urine and feces. It can cause 2 serious diseases: Hantavirus pulmonary syndrome and hemorrhagic fever with renal syndrome. Symptoms: sudden fever, headache, muscle aches, difficulty breathing, nausea and vomiting, fatigue, weakness. How is it transmitted? Inhalation of particles from urine, feces, or saliva of infected rodents. When dust is stirred up in enclosed or poorly ventilated places where rodents live, direct contact with rodents or contaminated surfaces. High risk level. It can be fatal in severe cases. Medium. Early detection increases the chances of recovery. Low. The risk for the general population is low, but prevention is key. Ventilate enclosed spaces before entering. Avoid contact with rodents. Carefully clean the areas. Wear gloves and a mask when cleaning. Keep the trash in closed containers. Seal cracks and openings in homes. Prevention is your best defense. Of course, that's what we thought until now. This would just be another case in our globalized world. Some tourists have been in a place on a boat. There are rodents on the boat. They have touched some surface. A tourist has put their hand to their mouth or has breathed in some kind of particle of this virus and became infected. All of this would be the normal case, the usual case. But what's unusual here? On Dios. It's free of rodents. According to the captain and the company, there are no rodents present inside the vessel. In addition to this, at least one of the cases of the deceased was infected inside the ship. There are other people suspected of being infected, so we can already talk about human-to-human infection. A un animal, not zoonosis, not jumping from an animal to a human, here, from rodent to human, through direct close contact. We're talking about human beings. Can transmit the infection. Something that the United Nations and doctors did not expect and are not expecting at this moment. the WHO, the government of Spain, the virus specialist, they talk about the model they know, a strain that is transmitted through contact with rodent feces and urine. But what we're seeing here, the way this virus acts with high mortality, isn't the usual pattern. So, if the same health organization acknowledges that there are cases of human-to-human transmission, how are we going to bring that ship to the port of an island that's populated and has tourism from all over the world? And where there are flights to all kinds of places. Let's see what the experts have to say, those who already spoke about COVID-19 at the time. Let's start with Fernando Simón. People from Spain already know who he is. Now you'll see why I say you already know who he is. Fernando Simón on the virus.
I don't think it's going to pose any risk to Spain at all. The virus is transmitted in a very specific way, through contact with rodent secretions. Person-to-person transmission is known. It can happen, but it's not very common and it's difficult. Riesgos. If the ship has no cases because people have been or will be evacuated, we shouldn't worry. We need to be reasonable about the risks. It's not a high risk. Whatever is done, whether it's here or somewhere else, all the necessary measures will be taken to control the risks, and the problem will have to be resolved. I think that obviously there is some minor risk. We have to be very careful to implement the proper control measures, but I don't think the population needs to be very worried right now. If they need it to be, it will go away. But right now, of course, I don't think that situation could happen.
Fernando Simón, year 2026. Fernando Simón, year 2020, before the COVID-19 pandemic broke out.
Spain is not going to have, at most, more than a few diagnosed cases. Let's hope there is no local transmission. If so, keep transmission very limited and controlled.
Canary, Spain is not...
Limited and controlled transmission. Locking all of us at home with a muzzle over our mouths. Government of Spain.
Regarding the coronavirus, I want to reassure everyone we are evaluating the situation with the World Health Organization. The necessary measures will be taken to address the situation. In fact, at 1 o'clock, there will be a meeting between the WHO and the government of Spain. I will tell you that everything is ready for care, for evaluation, and if necessary, for disinfection, if the WHO requires it. Yeah. But I insist, at this very moment, given the time, a meeting is taking place between the WHO and the government of Spain.
Meeting between WHO and Spain's government. Now you're going to see more. Don't worry, you're going to see more. You're going to be amazed by all of this. Let me say something. The virus has an incubation period of about 6 weeks. Who is the guru who hasn't thought of taking the virus to an island? Where there's a very small population, where you can set up, muchas gracias, a proper field hospital for those passengers and isolate those people. Thank you very much. Durante 8 weeks. Why hasn't any of the gurus we have in our government thought of something like that? Why do we have to bring a ship with a strain we can't identify, but we know it's infecting? to people, to an island populated by thousands and thousands of people to create a much bigger problem. For what reason or for what purpose? How is that? How come we can't go to St. Helena and set up a field hospital to receive these people? Napoleon was taken to St. Helena, but we can't take a group of people there so they can get medical attention? What kind of joke is this right now? Take a look at this. Do they want to take something to the Canary Islands that could be solved much closer? St. Helena Island. It has an isolated airport. You can set up a field hospital in hours. Can these people be taken off the ship, disembarked, monted in a convoy with biohazard protective gear, all protected with NBC gear? And take them to an isolated location? Can all those people be evacuated from here? And take them to the airport, for example? Keep the island under quarantine. Only 11 personnel could go with protection. There are more islands. Cat Hill. Another one. This one's even easier. You can take them to the beach in boats. Let them disembark. And to a field hospital. Belongs to the United Kingdom. You can carry out an operation like this on hundreds of islands in a matter of hours. If you want, it can be done in hours. But you can even do it in Cape Verde. I understand that maybe Cape Verde is a much more populated island, harder to control. Great, there are more islands. There are islands in Cape Verde that are practically uninhabited. What do you mean we can't do it? Why does that ship have to go to the Canary Islands? Is this about Tenerife or a different island? What for? To put the lives of hundreds of people at risk? When we don't know what that strain can do. Why don't we know? There haven't been any serious analyses or studies yet. But the government machinery is already at work. What are people saying? This isn't only happening in Spain right now. It's happening everywhere. Year 2025, I think. What we're about to see isn't from this year. And I want you to listen carefully. We are live right now, family, on Estrategia Militar. Over 12,000 people are here, but we're missing many likes. Please react. It's important to share this. It's urgent so people realize what's coming. Canary Islands residents need to realize this. It can't happen. It can't happen. I don't want to think the worst. Gracias, I think someone wants it to happen. Thanks.
No, I want to stress that there have been no public health incidents linked to these materials. So we have no evidence so far.
Say. Got that? Don't. Virus strains. One gracias video. There is no risk to public health. Don't worry about it. Thank you, video.
Of any event occurring as a result of the loss or destruction of these materials. The department is taking all necessary steps to ensure that it does have the appropriate...
The department is taking all necessary steps.
Regulatory matters in place. It is liaising with the federal record-keeping bodies and the federal accreditation bodies, as well as with our own Department of Agriculture. It has...
And this is the news. 323 vials containing deadly viruses disappeared from a laboratory in Australia. Among them, nearly 100 vials contain the gender virus, transmitted from horses to humans, with a mortality rate of 57%. 2 vials contain the Hantavirus, transmitted by rodents, with a mortality rate of 38%. And 223 vials contain the Lisa virus, Rebaes virus, with a mortality rate of nearly 100%. The disappearance is likely due to containers being lost during transfer to a new freezer. The Minister of Health is conducting an investigation. A ship. With international tourists. Incubation period 6 weeks. Closed environment. Close contact. The ideal breeding ground for a mutation to occur within a virus. Natural or not. I'll leave that to people who like conspiracy theories and all that stuff. I'm a pragmatic person who deals with facts and realities. But how is the Spanish left already selling this?
We still stand for humanity and helping others today. It's simple. The far-right sphere is silent today. But those of us who stand for humanity don't stay silent, whether they come by boat or by yacht.
They say the left defends both those who come in small boats from Africa and those who come with viruses from another part of the world. You have to see it to believe the intelligence people have in our countries. An incredible intelligence. Wonderful. In other countries, in France, saying,
oh no, the issue with the virus on this ship is whether it's an Andean strain or not.
The same speech by Fernando Simón, which is what is known with secretions and fluids from rodents, that's how it infects. But they also say here, don't worry, we already have experience with the whole COVID thing. Hobby, we have experience with the whole COVID thing.
The decisions are being made right now at this very moment. They're being made as more information about the situation on the ship becomes available.
Here is Fernando Simón, and this is the COPE network. No, this is Onda Cero, excuse me.
Case, people who...
And the journalist already reporting it.
It's normal to get chills when you hear Fernando Simón say that something, whatever it is, doesn't pose any risk.
Of course, it gives you chills when you hear Fernando Simón say that there will be few or no cases. Horizonte, Iker Jiménez.
The official of Spain will receive the unused vessel in the Canary Islands in compliance with international law and the humanitarian spirit. Not just 3 people. It's about the whole ship.
Which statement Is Indra referring to here about this issue? The whole ship? Well, here's the statement. You're going to be amazed by this. The World Health Organization, in coordination with the European Union, has just requested the Spanish government to receive the MV Ondius vessel in the Canary Islands in compliance with international law and the spirit of humanitarianism. Why haven't they asked St. Helena, the United Kingdom, France, Cape Verde, any African country, or South Africa? At this moment, that vessel is in Cape Verde, where it docked after detecting a viral infection outbreak. Well, why isn't it being attended to in Cape Verde? How is Cape Verde different from the Canary Islands? The European Center for Disease Prevention and Control is conducting a thorough examination of the ship to determine which people need to be urgently evacuated in Cape Verde itself. The rest will remain on board, heading to the Canary Islands, where they expect to arrive within 3 to 4 days. That is, before the thorough examination is finished. The government of Spain already knows the arrival time of that ship. And how is that possible if the examination hasn't been finished? The specific port hasn't been defined yet. Once there, crew and passengers will be properly examined, attended to, and transferred to their respective countries. A virus with an incubation period of 1 to 6 weeks. The process will be coordinated through a common protocol for handling cases and contacts developed by the WHO and the ECDC. It will have all the necessary safety measures. Both medical care and transfers will be carried out in special facilities and vehicles specifically set up for this situation, avoiding any contact with the local population and ensuring the safety of healthcare personnel at all times. The government says here it will announce the details of this protocol as soon as they are defined by the WHO and the ECDC. In addition, it will provide timely updates on its implementation. The World Health Organization stated that Cabo Verde cannot perform this operation. Why? Why can't Cabo Verde carry it out? The Canary Islands are the closest place with the necessary capabilities, because Spain has a moral and legal obligation to help these people, among whom there are also Spanish citizens. En un avión hospitalizado en el día de hoy. By the same logic, the government has also accepted a formal request from the government of the Netherlands to receive the doctor from the Ondius, who is in serious condition and will be transported to the Canary Islands today in an air ambulance. Hoy! That is today. Today, there is a person with Hantavirus, Hantavirus, or a virus in the Canary Islands. Today, the ship's doctor. And now, how the hell did the doctor get infected? Direct contact with infected people. From a virus that is supposed to only infect people through rodent secretions. Comments in the chat. I think people must be pretty angry. I can imagine. I'm not reading the chat because we're doing this live. This is absolute madness. What we're seeing right now, I have no idea what the hell is happening to the government anymore. Hantavirus, virus. I don't care what the thing is called. It doesn't matter. Of course, to wash their hands of it, they say, let's follow the WHO and ECDC protocol. We're going to follow it because in Cape Verde, you can't carry out this kind of operation. But in the Canary Islands, in Cape Verde, on the island of Praia, there's an airport, there are international flights, there's space to set up a field hospital, and 4 military planes can arrive with all the equipment. Spain can send it if they want. That's fine. They go to an isolated area of the airport. Here, they can set it up off the runway. Let's see. The island is huge. Are you kidding? Are they laughing at everyone? It's clearly stated on the paper. I'm not making anything up. YouTube censors, please be careful, because I'm not making anything up. This is an official document from Spain's Ministry of Health. The World Health Organization has explained that the operation cannot be carried out in Cape Verde, but that it can be done in the Canary. I don't understand it. There are 4, 5, 6, or 7 islands in Cape Verde. You can't do it on any of them. Gracias. We can't look for an island where we can isolate the passengers for 6 weeks. Thank you. I don't care if they're Spanish, if there are 14 Spaniards, 40 Swedes, or 50 extraterrestrials. I don't care. What I want is to carry out an operation with maximum security, with a military-grade security protocol, when facing a threat that could be deadly for the rest of the world. Because we don't know. And whoever laughs at these things, let them go ask. Gracias to the people who lost their loved ones to the virus. Thank you. Fools who said that by taking paracetamol it would go away. What are they saying on TV? Because here, you only learn about things from TV.
Illness is raising alarms after several people have gotten sick aboard a luxury cruise ship in the Atlantic. So far, at least 3 people have died, and 2 people are confirmed to have Hantavirus, with 5 more suspected cases. The world...
We have 3 dead, 2 confirmed cases, and 5 more people suspected of being infected. We're seeing a high infection rate in a virus not meant for person-to-person transmission. There's a variant out there called the Andes variant. Which is said, it's rumored. It could spread between people, the most dangerous one. A ship that leaves from Ushuaia in Argentina. The Andes virus, a South American variant of the Hantavirus, especially in Argentina and Chile, with different lineages, different genotypes. That presents a severe cardiopulmonary syndrome caused by Hantavirus. It's the only one currently with evidence of person-to-person transmission in some outbreaks. It's natural. Reservoir, the long-tailed mouse. No. With the bug, we talked about pangolins and bats. Now we're back to the classic, the mice. The Black Plague too, the rats. We're back to a classic. The natural reservoir of the bug. But what are the experts still saying about this topic? About this topic?
Thank you. The WHO wants the cruise ship affected by the virus outbreak to arrive in the Canary Islands, and it has agreed with the Ministry of Health to send a group of epidemiologists this very afternoon.
Are they going to send us?
It depends on, the ship, as the official from the Canary Islands government said, the alert was given in international waters. And
Telepedro. This is Telepedro.
They assess the risks for the people who are traveling on the ship. They assess the risks mainly for people because not all the cases are confirmed. Only 2 are confirmed cases, while the rest are suspected cases. Those people are evacuated more quickly so they can receive treatment, since it's important that treatment for the virus or for someone possibly infected begins as soon as possible.
So then why isn't it done in Cape Verde? Why are we now going to make these people travel for 5 days? If it needs to be done quickly, why in the Canary Islands? If they're in Cape Verde.
In the case that there are other people on the boat who have symptoms, then a decision would be made about those people.
A decision would be made. We don't know what to do.
What is done, I insist, is to strictly comply with international law. The boat was in international waters.
We must follow international law. The boat is in Cape Verde. Cape Verde.
A health regulation that requires the duty to assist people who are sick. They are evacuated as soon as possible.
Cape Verde, right? As soon as possible, Cape Verde.
The passengers continue on to their destination with specific monitoring.
What do you mean they continue to their destination with specific monitoring? For God's sake?
So that there are no complications from anyone else. In principle, the virus is not very contagious and person-to-person spread is limited.
3 dead, 2 confirmed, 5 suspected. The count adds up.
Even those on the ship have nothing to worry about. And people in the Canary Islands are completely safe.
Nothing to worry about? People of the Canary Islands, don't worry about anything, stay calm?
But the people who are on the ship should be safe if, as the WHO says, advanced infection prevention and control protocols have already been implemented on the ship, right?
Yes. Advanced controls have been carried out, which means placing the ship 100 meters from the entrance of the port of Cape Verde.
And from now on, there should be no close contact with the passengers in case of person-to-person transmission, which is exceptional.
But the captain said, there are no rats on my ship.
But with a virus from Argentina, it could happen. So let's ensure it doesn't happen again.
The virus comes from Argentina. It's Milei's fault. See it, sir.
Cases, right? And that the cruise has already happily finished the incubation period, and that this ends up like other virus scares, and that there's an anecdote.
Not this.
Every.
Adios. I think I still have a box of masks somewhere. Goodbye. We'll likely need to get the boxes out and start buying again. Seeing the professionals who are involved in this story, they need urgent evacuation, but will be sent to the Canary Islands. I don't know. But right now, folks, you're all thinking this affects the whole planet. The joke about taking it to the Canary Islands, where there are international flights to all kinds of places. You're going to see what this will lead to. There are things you can't control. You can try to minimize, to limit. You can't control nature. Just like humans seek to survive. through our means, our abilities, our medicine, our technological advances. A virus, from its own perspective, seeks to survive. Because that's its purpose. Infect, survive, infect, survive. It's good that you do it. And this already happened with the Ebola thing. The girl who got infected from a needle prick got nervous and pricked herself with a needle. Boom, Ebola. In Spain, a single patient. When you try to control things, you can't control. And you think you're God. That's when nature puts you in your place. What we're seeing en tu lugar. Y ese lugar, that nature puts you in your place. Nature puts you in your place. In our country. Let's see. First, we'll have to investigate what has happened. Provide them with medical assistance on board the ship. Severe cases that cannot be treated on the ship are transferred to a remote area on an island with a low population, far from any possibility of airborne infection. You take her 10 kilometers away, 5 kilometers from an airport, and you set up a base there. Everyone in NVQ suits and with 3 security perimeters. That's how it's done. That's what a serious country or organization looks like. No one enters, no one leaves without disinfecting, without all the safety measures in place, and without following protocols step by step. And you even set up a quarantine area for people who have been in close contact with those individuals. And things are taken seriously. No. We go down, we take by helicopter or plane someone who is already infected, the ship's doctor, to whom we wish a speedy recovery as soon as possible. We take them to the Canary Islands. To the Canary Islands. In the Canary Islands, we'll decide what to do. Picture of the virus. I mean, so you can get familiar with it. We're putting the new cover here now. Is it really that hard to get things done? All right. Or at least try to do them, right? If things get out of hand later, if there's an infection, if this spreads across half the planet and we're wiped out, that's it. It's okay. At least you tried to do it, right? You tried to do it right. But I think the plan of taking the ship and some guys by plane and others by land and others by sea doesn't hold water. Big time. That's the virus. And it's about listening again. The government has no idea.
And regarding the Hantavirus, I want to send a message of reassurance. It's being evaluated.
But what do you mean reassurance? To give reassurance, you need to have data, verified information. As long as you don't have those things, there's no reassurance here at all. None. No, I think this is crazy. The people from Cabo Verde said, you're bringing that ship here? Get out of here. No. Cabo Verde told them that clearly. That ship is not coming in here. No, you can drop someone off or fly them elsewhere by helicopter, but it's not coming in here. No. And now they're calling Spain, calling Pedro. Pedro, Look, we know you have your wife who's going to court now that you have this and that. We're going to send you a ship carrying Hantavirus. And Pedro says, oof, great. Pedro's the one from the blackouts, the one from the storm, the one from the volcano, the one from COVID. Pedro's involved in... Pedro Sanchez is a plague magnet. Every plague on this planet seems to happen to Pedro. And he's so happy. He says a virus is now coming to us from over there. And we don't make the national budget. We say that because of the current situation, we have to help tourism recover in the Canary Islands. There's some kind of outbreak now or whatever. Fantastico.
Together with the World Health Organization, together with the WHO, the necessary measures will be taken to address this situation. In fact, at 1 o'clock, there will be a meeting between the WHO and the government of Spain. I will tell you that everything is ready for care, for evaluation, and for disinfection if the WHO requires it. But I insist, right now, at this very moment, there is a meeting taking place between the WHO and the government of Spain.
Well, you'll see it tomorrow. How are the travel cancellations to the Canary Islands going to start? You'll see it tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll see in the news, in the headlines, cancellations in the Canary Islands. Gracias. If right now you have the virus under control, thank you. If right now you have the virus on a ship, gracias. Why the hell are you going to let the people off the ship? Thank you. They're not going on Noah's Ark. It's a luxury ship. Send them food, send them supplies, send them trained doctors with protection, and take care of them on the ship. If anyone goes into a critical condition, you take them off the ship. You take them to a field hospital in an isolated location. And here they're going to take more than 140 people off. Donde? Where 80 could be infected? Where?
Skinny Butt with the virus, I want to send a message of reassurance. It's being evaluated.
But what do you know? You know as much as I do. Nothing.
Situation, together with the World Health Organization, together with the WHO, the necessary measures will be taken to address the situation. In fact, at 1 o'clock, there will be a meeting between the WHO and the government of Spain. I'll tell you that everything is set.
International health regulations do not impose a strict legal obligation to receive ships with infectious outbreaks. Countries can deny entry for public health reasons, as Cape Verde has done. There you have it. The government of Spain is already lying. The government of Spain says here, and we're going to prove it, we're going to prove it. That's enough already. That's enough already. Let's see. I'm going to read it first. Let's see, 1 second. No. The World Health Organization cannot force a sovereign country to accept a ship with infected people. The WHO can recommend actions, coordinate health responses, declare public health emergencies, and suggest measures under the international health regulations. However, decisions to allow ships entry, close ports, impose quarantines, or deny disembarkation remain each government's responsibility. During COVID, several countries rejected cruise ships, imposed port quarantines, and limited disembarkations. So why is the government lying? We're off to a good start. We're off to a good start. Oh my goodness. Look at this. The World Health Organization has explained that Cabo Verde cannot carry out this operation. No. Cabo Verde has refused to allow those people to disembark on its territory. First lie. The Canary Islands are the closest place with the necessary capabilities. Spain has a moral and legal obligation to help these people. That's a lie. It's not obligated. Why don't they take the doctor to the Netherlands in a medical plane? He says that the Netherlands has asked him to take in the doctor. This is incendiary, isn't it? It's really incendiary. There's the ship in Cape Verde. It's kept the virus contained in there. And they want to take it out. This is unbelievable. Meanwhile, the passengers inside the Ondius don't know what they're going to do with them. Here's the short guy.
Wouldn't make a video like this, but I feel like I need to say something, so I wrote a few things down. I am currently on board the MV Hantavirus, and what's happening right now is very real for all of us here. We're not just a story.
He says, we're not just a story, we're not just a problem. We are people.
Personas con familias.
People with families, with lives, with people waiting for them.
We're nosotros en casa, with lives, with people waiting for us at home.
With people who are waiting at home.
Montón de.
Uncertainty.
And that's the hardest part.
And that's the most important part. He's reading it.
Now, is to feel
safe.
To have clarity.
To have clarity. And to return home.
If you're seeing coverage about this.
So if you see coverage about this.
Just remember that there are real people.
There are real people involved in this. And it's true. There are real people aboard the Ondius, potentially with a virus that has an incubation period of 1 to 6 weeks. It's painful for everyone, but we have to handle this situation with the utmost professionalism, with the best risk assessment. And this is doing this to us. Sorry to say, but that's doing this to us. And what's about to happen is going to be huge. It's huge. $130,000 people died with COVID-19.
It's just that the Canary Islands are...
And pay attention to this. Now, to top it off, to finish the story, Pedro Sanchez's TV network, even they themselves are starting to realize that this is complete madness and total nonsense. Please, listen to this.
It's just that the Canary Islands weren't planned as a stopover. In fact, the final destination is going to be the Netherlands. And that's why this cruise ship docked in Cape Verde. Could it? When heading north, request help from the Canary ports? It could. In fact, that's why this protocol has been activated between different institutions. Among those present are border health authorities, the Ministry of Health, and even the Health Alert Center. Even the Ministry of Transport as well, because it should decide which port. In any case, this virus case is not the first one to occur here in Spain. Just a year ago, there was a case in Catalonia.
Don't worry, this has happened before. Don't worry. The ship wasn't meant to stop here, but it will. It's stopping on the way to the Netherlands. They're going to contaminate every place they stop. Hey, I like Cabo Verde. They seem pretty sensible to me. They say, you're not going to unload that here. You unload the Spaniards in the Canary Islands. Gracias. They love these things. Thank you. Look, it's a curious thing. It's one of the trips I'd like to take, to get to know everything about the South Pole, which is a really unknown area with some incredible islands and unique landscapes. I would love to see it. And to take this kind of cruise, which would be fantastic, it would be an experience. But you have to understand the risks that come with disembarking those people right now on an island like the Canaries. And I keep insisting, from the place where the infection is detected to the Canaries, there are hundreds of places better prepared for the technical needs required by this operation. Many more. Let's go to the super chat comments here on estrategias militares. This is a topic that's going to be explosive in the coming days, you'll see. And this is all people are going to talk about. Let's check out this community's comments. I insist again, my deepest respect to all the victims, people affected by this and their families. We want the best. Exactly, that's because we want the best. We want to demand that those people receive the best treatment possible. The highest level of professional help and care. But that doesn't mean they should endanger an entire planet. Because the danger is real. If it weren't real, they would already have been taken to a regular hospital. There is a real danger. There's something we don't know. We don't know what kind of strain it is. We don't know how those cases of human-to-human infection are happening. H2H? We don't know anything. So why can't we do things right? And Benny, thank you so much. Welcome. Marina Alvarez, we welcome you. Star collaborators. Beatriz, thank you so much for that contribution. And Beat, thanks for the great info. Lozanidas is a great, humble, and sincere strategist. Just that. this, I'll say it again, I'm not an expert in virology, in viruses, in bacteriological warfare, or any of that. I know the basics about this, or what was explained to me back in the day. But there's a protocol called total isolation and prevention of the spread of the disease or the pathogen. Well, they're completely violating it here. Completely. Julia, thank you very much. Udelia, we understand the delay. You're only human and have been up late. Please don't even think about going to the Canary Islands. The Canary Islands are incredible. Amazing. Greetings to our friends in the Canary Islands. We want you to be well. We want the world to be okay. Okay. Thank you very much for that super chat. Elias, thank you very much. Manolo, a big shout out to the moderators who take the time to greet everyone. It's a huge task with 10 to 20,000 people. That's right. We have the best moderators on the planet. Oila, thank you very much. Jom, Sanchez and the left would love to start another pandemic to cut the population and limit our freedoms even more. I don't know. In Chile, the hantavirus is well known and spreads from rodents to humans via feces, urine, or contaminated surface. Transmission between people is very rare. That's why. Because what is happening is so rare that not even scientists, experts in virology or doctors, know what's going on. When you don't know what's going on, you can't act according to a standard protocol, which is what's being done now. The first thing you have to do is isolate the source so you have time and can understand it. Because in these situations, unfortunately, and being very, very harsh about this, the lives of 140 people cannot put an entire planet at risk. All right? It's that harsh, it's that hard to swallow and to say, but someone has to say it. Because it's common sense, logic. And this goes beyond our feelings, morality. We're talking about a serious issue, a very serious one, that could lead to something even more serious. And when it comes out of that place, it's unstoppable. We saw it with COVID. Started in China. A plane arrived in Malaga with Chinese people to play in a sports competition. Boom. People went to Italy. Boom. The airports weren't closed. Boom. That's how it was. And there were people who said, let's close the airports. No one goes out. No one comes in. Gracias. It ended with the whole country stuck at home, banging pots and pans on their balconies. Thank you. Or clapping. The leftists want to spread it all over the world, and they're already vaccinated. I don't know if there's a vaccine or not. I don't think there is. Estrategia, please get some rest. We love you, but you need your sleep. You can't recover lost sleep, and you're getting older. God bless you. Thank you very much for your valuable information. No, man, it's already been 2.5 years, just imagine. I've got my cane here to help me get around. There's currently no approved or marketed universal vaccine against the virus. You're giving me even more reason. It's about your body surviving. 38% chance. I think on the ship, that chance of dying is much higher. Three people infected, 3 dead. There's a 4th in serious condition. Are they seeking financial compensation? No, I don't think so. There are people who have had the virus and still have antibodies. It depends on the strain, Bernardo. There are many things. You might have antibodies for one strain, but maybe that strain isn't useful. Maybe the strain on that ship is one we don't know about. Because since no study has been done yet, but people are going to be taken off. They're going to be sent by planes to their homes so that later they can go to McDonald's, go to Burger King, or anywhere else to eat. They'll go for a walk. They want to lock us down again, but info on the mutation is scarce. Thanks for the update. Hugs to the mods. Says Miriam. Thanks, Miriam. Look, strategies. There have always been viruses in Argentina. For centuries, I don't think it's the bug. It should end here. I hope so. But you're the expert. I'm an expert. The planet excels at Hantavirus. This strain has been studied. Samples have been taken. And we already know exactly what the Andes strain is, or the Kilimanjaro strain, or the strain Veleta. No. Since we don't know, since it's unknown, we can't take steps without knowing what we're facing. It's a common principle. In bacteriological warfare with viruses or pathogenic agents, you can't take steps without knowing who your enemy is and what you're facing. How it lives, how it works, and how to kill it. This is the clear case. We don't know anything about what's happening on that ship. That's it. Fernando, they're bringing them to the mainland instead of quarantining an island. Correct. To an island with a huge volume of international flights. 247. Also, when summer is about to begin. That's exactly when the most money is made in the Canary Islands. It's Pedro with a wig. Don't be fooled. Martin, thank you very much. Floribet. What was the ship's route? Let's check the map. Let's look at the map. All right, let's take a look at it. Ship route. Only the Canary Islands can accommodate a ship like that. Supposedly, according to the government, Leon said this. There you have the route. Thank you very much for that super chat. Antonio, we need to isolate the source and strain. Sanchez is making a mess as usual. This is just common sense. The origin isn't magic. Something from its source got on the ship. Disease control agencies won't act. Yes? Yes, put them on board in the Canary. Send them home by plane. Notice how the story has evolved. The first strains of the bug seemed more deadly than the ones that came later. The incubation period started long, then short. Viruses evolve. That's their genetic profile, to evolve in order to survive. In a closed environment, like on that ship, that virus has been able to evolve. Gracias, because there had never been a situation like this before, with a virus like that inside a ship. Thank you. This doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. And what is being done isn't possible. In no way at all. But there it is. That's the situation. By the way, as soon as we finish, we're going to make the thumbnail for a new show in a few minutes. It won't be much later. It's happening right away. Situation in Cuba. And Donald J. Trump has just suspended the operation. Proyecto Libertad. I won't say anymore. Proyecto Libertad, currently on hold. We're going to see it now. Family, please, your comments are super important on this topic. See you on Estrategia Militares. Well, I didn't have time to make the thumbnail in 5 minutes. You'll have it. Refresh in 5 minutes. Everything will be ready for you. There. Best regards. Estrategia Militares.